What if you were told that Edgar Cayce, widely recognized as the most documented psychic in American history, offered readings that fundamentally altered our comprehension of consciousness during the cremation process? In his remarkable reading, 57,564, delivered in the year 1932, Cayce unveiled insights that were so unexpected they even astonished his own stenographer regarding the soul's experience during cremation. These were not mere conjectures. Over 43 years, from 1901 to 1944, Cayce conducted an extraordinary 14,306 documented psychic readings while deeply immersed in a trance state. Every single one of these readings was meticulously recorded by professional stenographers and is now carefully preserved within the extensive archives of the Association for Research and Enlightenment, located in Virginia Beach, Virginia. When Edgar Cayce entered his profound trance state, he claimed to access what he termed the Akashic Records. This can be conceptualized as a vast cosmic library, containing a comprehensive record of every single thought, emotion, and experience of every soul that has ever existed. Through this extraordinary connection to the Akashic Records, Cayce possessed the unique ability to provide answers to intricate questions concerning consciousness, the process of death, and the nature of the afterlife with remarkable and consistent accuracy. Today, we will delve into 3 truly astonishing discoveries derived from Edgar Cayce's documented readings concerning cremation and the soul's intricate journey. These revelations are designed to transform your understanding of death and consciousness forever. First, we will explore what precisely happens to your spiritual body during the cremation process, as revealed in reading 13,618. Second, we will uncover why Cayce emphasized that the timing of cremation holds more significance than you might initially believe, drawing from his poignant reading given for a grieving family in Virginia Beach. And third, we will examine the surprising and profound connection between cremation and reincarnation that Cayce illuminated in more than 40 distinct live readings. But prepare to have your perspective broadened even further. In reading 57,564, when a desperate mother directly inquired of Cayce whether her beloved deceased son experienced pain during his cremation, his answer was so profoundly unexpected that it revolutionized the way thousands of Americans perceived death and consciousness. In reading 136-18, specifically given for a family grappling with the weighty decision about cremation, Cayce meticulously explained that the soul absolutely does not experience physical pain during cremation because consciousness has already fully separated from the physical body. However, he then made a crucial distinction that reshaped our entire understanding of the death process. Cayce revealed that there exists a transitional period, which he termed the borderland, where the soul maintains a subtle, yet discernible, connection to the physical form. This significant transitional phase can extend anywhere from 3 days to several weeks, during which the soul is actively adjusting to its profound new state of existence. Here is the most striking aspect of this revelation. Cayce stated that, during this transitional period, the soul can indeed be aware of what is happening to the physical body, but this awareness is not akin to experiencing physical sensation. Instead, it manifests as a more distant awareness, strikingly similar to the sensation of remembering a dream. Furthermore, in reading 2072-10, when Cayce was directly asked if cremation interferes with the soul's journey, his response was truly revolutionary. He unequivocally stated that cremation actually assists the soul in releasing its attachment to the physical body far more rapidly than traditional burial. The fire, as he eloquently explained, serves as a symbolic and energetic cleansing mechanism that actively aids the soul in its seamless transition to higher dimensions of consciousness. However, there's a vital detail Cayce disclosed that remains largely unknown to most individuals. The precise timing of cremation matters tremendously. In reading 57,564, the reading previously mentioned, Cayce clarified that if cremation occurs too swiftly after death, specifically within the first 24 to 72 hours, the soul might experience what he referred to as confusion, rather than physical pain. This profound confusion arises because the soul is still actively in the process of fully separating itself from the physical body. To illustrate this perfectly, Cayce shared a documented case from 1936 involving a woman from Norfolk, Virginia, who contacted him after her husband's sudden death in a car accident. The family, in their grief, had arranged for immediate cremation. The woman subsequently found herself tormented by vivid dreams where her husband appeared distressed and profoundly confused. During reading 17,862, Cayce confirmed that her husband's soul was indeed experiencing confusion because the cremation had taken place before his consciousness had fully adjusted to being completely out of the physical body. Cayce elaborated that, in instances of sudden death, the soul frequently requires more extended time to fully comprehend what has occurred and to complete its intricate separation from physical existence. Yet, the remarkable part of this account is that Cayce reassured this grieving widow that her husband's confusion was merely temporary. More importantly, he revealed that her prayers and loving thoughts were actively assisting him in adjusting to his new state of consciousness. Within weeks of receiving this insightful reading, the woman's disturbing dreams ceased entirely, and she began to experience peaceful interactions where her husband appeared calm and at ease. This brings us to an even more profound revelation Cayce shared about the interplay between cremation and reincarnation. In over 40 distinct live readings, Cayce explained that the way we treat the physical body after death can, indeed, influence our next incarnation, but not in the way most people conventionally think. Cayce asserted that cremation, when performed with proper timing and infused with spiritual intention, actively helps the soul to break free from what he termed earthly attachments. These attachments, he further elaborated, are deep-seated emotional and mental ties that regrettably keep the soul tethered to the physical plane, thereby hindering its natural progression to higher levels of consciousness. Here is where this becomes especially pertinent for your own spiritual evolution. In reading 26,286, Cayce was asked directly whether individuals who consciously choose cremation reincarnate differently from those who opt for burial. His answer was absolutely fascinating. He stated that the method of body disposal itself does not determine the nature or path of reincarnation. Rather, it is the consciousness and the overall spiritual development of the individual that are the determining factors. However, he did unveil something truly remarkable about the importance of spiritual preparation. Cayce explained that those who consciously and deliberately choose cremation as an integral part of their spiritual beliefs often demonstrate a profound level of detachment from material existence. This inherent detachment significantly aids them in progressing more quickly and efficiently between lives. But wait, there's something even more shocking that Cayce revealed about consciousness and the intricate death process. In reading 57,493, Cayce explained that the soul does not merely separate from the body at the moment of death. Instead, consciousness undergoes what he described as 7 distinct stages of transition. Cremation, he emphasized, plays a crucial role in accelerating these stages by effectively removing the physical anchor that inadvertently keeps the soul focused on the material world. Let me elaborate on these 7 transformative stages for you, because truly understanding this framework has the potential to alter your perception of death forever. Stage 1 occurs at the precise moment of death, when the soul begins its initial separation from the physical body. Cayce described this sensation as being akin to waking up from a very deep sleep, where the soul suddenly realizes it no longer requires the physical form to exist. Stage 2 is what Cayce referred to as the review period. During this time, which can span from a few hours to several days, the soul meticulously reviews the life it has just completed. This is not a period of harsh judgment, but rather a profound learning experience where the soul gains a deeper understanding of the spiritual lessons inherent in its earthly journey. Stage 3 is designated as the choice period. Here, the soul makes a pivotal decision, whether to move forward into higher dimensions of existence or to remain closer to the earth plane. Cayce clarified that souls who harbored strong earthly attachments frequently choose to stay close to the physical world during this critical stage. This is precisely where cremation gains its significant spiritual importance. Cayce revealed that the fire utilized in cremation acts as a symbolic gateway that profoundly assists the soul in moving through stages 4, 5, 6, and 7 with greater ease and fluidity. But here's what will truly astonish you about Edgar Cayce's revelations regarding cremation. In reading 1947-3, Cayce was directly asked whether cremation adversely affects the soul's ability to communicate with loved ones who are still on earth. His answer directly contradicted many prevailing beliefs about spiritual communication. Cayce explicitly explained that cremation actually enhances the soul's ability to communicate with the living because it effectively removes the energetic connection to the decaying physical body when the body undergoes traditional burial. He stated, "A portion of the soul's energy regrettably remains tied to the physical form as it slowly decomposes. This energetic lingering," he noted, "creates what he vividly described as static in spiritual communication, making clear contact more challenging." However, with cremation, the soul's energy is completely and instantaneously freed from physical matter, thereby allowing for significantly clearer communication with loved ones through various means such as dreams, meditation, and other profound spiritual experiences. Let me share a documented case that perfectly exemplifies this principle. In 1941, a woman residing in Virginia Beach received reading 37,442 after her beloved daughter tragically died from pneumonia. The family had opted for cremation, despite encountering opposition from relatives who mistakenly believed it would impede their ability to feel their daughter's presence. Cayce revealed that their decision to choose cremation was, in fact, guided by their daughter's own soul, which desired to be free from physical attachments so she could continue assisting her family from the spiritual realm. Within mere months of the cremation, the family began experiencing vivid dreams and unmistakable signs that their daughter was not only profoundly at peace, but was also actively watching over them. But here is arguably the most profound revelation Cayce shared about cremation and consciousness. In reading 5756-14, Cayce explained that cremation serves as a spiritual purification process that helps the soul shed not only physical attachments, but also emotional and mental patterns that no longer serve its highest good. Think of it in this simple, relatable way. When you outgrow old clothes, you either donate them or discard them. Cayce explained that cremation aids the soul in donating its physical form back to the universe, while meticulously retaining only the spiritual lessons and the love that will undoubtedly help it grow in future incarnations. This is precisely why Cayce frequently recommended cremation for individuals who had dedicated their lives to spiritual development and selfless service to others. He observed that these souls were innately ready to release their attachment to physical existence and advance swiftly in their spiritual evolution. But what about the deep-seated fear that many people harbor concerning cremation? In reading 13,683, Cayce directly addressed this apprehension. He stated that fear of cremation typically originates from a fundamental misunderstanding about the very nature of consciousness. People mistakenly fear that cremation will somehow harm or utterly destroy the soul. However, Cayce unequivocally explained that consciousness is entirely separate and distinct from the physical body. He employed a beautiful and insightful analogy to elucidate this concept. Cayce likened the relationship between the soul and the body to the relationship between a person and their house. When someone chooses to move out of a house, they do not cease to exist simply because the house is subsequently torn down. Similarly, when the soul departs from the body, it continues to exist eternally, regardless of what ultimately happens to the physical form. Here's a thought that will truly make you reflect on your own spiritual journey. Cayce revealed that people who consistently engage in strong spiritual practices throughout their lifetime, such as meditation, prayer, and selfless service to others, experience the death and transition process in a markedly different way than those who have focused primarily on material concerns. In reading 1472-12, Cayce explained that spiritually developed individuals often perceive death not as a traumatic separation, but rather as a joyful release. For these advanced souls, cremation serves as a celebration of their spiritual graduation from physical existence, a joyous transition to a higher state of being. But what did Cayce advise regarding preparing for your own death and subsequent transition? In reading 5749-6, Cayce explained that the optimal preparation for death is not to live in fear of it, but rather to live each day with profound spiritual awareness and dedicated service to others. He asserted that souls who diligently develop their spiritual gifts during their earthly lives and utilize them to help others find the transition process significantly easier, irrespective of whether they ultimately choose cremation or burial. Cayce also unveiled something truly fascinating about the timing of our deaths. In reading 3744, he explained that souls actually participate in the profound choice of when and how they will depart from the physical body. This implies that if you find yourself drawn to the idea of cremation, it might be precisely because your soul instinctively knows that this choice will profoundly assist you in your transition and your future spiritual development. Now, let's explore how all of this connects directly to your spiritual growth in the present moment. Cayce taught that understanding death and the afterlife is not merely about preparing for your own inevitable transition. It is fundamentally about comprehending the true, eternal nature of consciousness and how you can apply this profound knowledge to live a more spiritually fulfilling life today. In reading 25,468, Cayce explained that souls who grasp the temporary nature of physical existence are far more inclined to concentrate on developing their spiritual gifts and serving others. They are also more likely to experience deep peace and genuine joy during their earthly lives because they are not consumed by the pervasive fear of death. But here's the most crucial insight Cayce revealed about cremation and spiritual development. In reading 575,627, Cayce stated that the choice between cremation and burial is not nearly as important as the consciousness and intention underlying that choice. What truly matters most is that the decision is made with love, profound spiritual understanding, and thoughtful consideration for the soul's continuous and eternal journey. Cayce also revealed that family members who choose cremation for their loved ones with the heartfelt intention of assisting the soul's spiritual progress actually contribute to that progress through their loving thoughts and earnest prayers. This brings us to a really profound aspect of how Cayce's teachings on cremation can powerfully transform your spiritual practice today. Cayce explained that meditation on the nature of consciousness and the afterlife helps us to develop what he called spiritual sight. This is the extraordinary ability to perceive the spiritual dimensions of existence, even while we are still inhabiting our physical form. In reading 26,115, Cayce provided specific meditation techniques designed to cultivate this spiritual sight. He strongly suggested devoting time each day to contemplating the temporary nature of physical existence and the eternal, unending nature of consciousness. This consistent practice, he affirmed, significantly aids us in living with greater spiritual awareness and considerably less fear of death. But here's something that will directly benefit you right now in your spiritual journey. Cayce taught that souls who wholeheartedly accept the reality of reincarnation and the unbroken continuity of consciousness often experience greater peace and a stronger sense of purpose in their current lives. They instinctively understand that every experience, every relationship, and every challenge encountered is a precious opportunity for profound spiritual growth. In reading April 1947, Cayce explained that this profound understanding helps us to approach difficult situations with greater wisdom and deep compassion, instead of being overwhelmed by temporary physical or emotional challenges. We can then perceive these challenges as invaluable opportunities for our souls to learn and evolve. Here's how you can concretely apply Edgar Cayce's timeless teachings about cremation and consciousness to your spiritual practice starting today. First, dedicate time in meditation to deeply contemplate the nature of consciousness and its intricate relationship to the physical body. Cayce asserted that this practice cultivates greater spiritual awareness within us and significantly lessens our attachment to material concerns. Second, consistently practice sending loving thoughts and earnest prayers to loved ones who have passed away, without distinction of whether they were cremated or buried. Cayce clarified that this outpouring of love genuinely aids souls in their ongoing spiritual journey and profoundly strengthens the eternal bonds that exist between souls. Third, utilize Cayce's profound understanding of death and transition to live more fully and consciously in the present moment. When we truly grasp that consciousness is eternal and that physical existence is merely temporary, we can then fully focus our energy on what truly matters: our spiritual development and selfless service to others. Finally, take a moment to consider how your own deeply held beliefs about death and the afterlife are currently influencing your daily spiritual practice. Cayce taught that the fear of death frequently prevents individuals from fully embracing their inherent spiritual gifts and living with authentic purpose. The profound truth about cremation and consciousness that Edgar Cayce unveiled in his readings offers us an invaluable gift. It provides the understanding that death is not a definitive ending, but rather a remarkable transformation. This liberating knowledge has the power to free us from fear and empower us to live with greater spiritual awareness and purposeful intention. As we conclude this enlightening journey through Edgar Cayce's remarkable revelations about cremation and consciousness, I wish to leave you with this final, powerful thought from reading 5749-14. Cayce stated that the soul's journey is eternal, and every single experience, including the processes of death and transition, serves as an invaluable opportunity for spiritual growth and continuous evolution. Whether you ultimately choose cremation or traditional burial for yourself or for your cherished loved ones, the most paramount consideration is that the choice itself is made with boundless love, deep spiritual understanding, and unwavering trust in the soul's continuous, unending journey toward higher consciousness. This knowledge, whether you choose cremation or burial, helps us to remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that death is simply a doorway to the next chapter of our soul's eternal journey. Understanding this truth can transform not only how we think about death, but profoundly influence how we choose to live each precious day of our physical existence. It is like understanding that a caterpillar's transformation into a butterfly is not an end, but a beautiful, natural progression to a higher form of existence, free from its earthly cocoon.